Russia just became the first country in the world to release a fully functioning, fully tested, according to them, vaccine for the coronavirus. Now, the scientific data of the test results are being kept secret before it's being released, which is kind of concerning since the release of the vaccine is taking place right now to the public in the whole of Russia. Nevertheless, this is a huge breakthrough for the scientific community and for humanity as a whole. It's being almost unreported in the news, which is quite incredible when you think about China and the US both bragging that they're very close to actually releasing the world's first vaccine. And here Russia is actually having released it. Now, I'll go into details about how it's lacking some of the typical testing for vaccines later on. But they have fittingly called it the Sputnik 5, a throwback to when Russia launched the first artificial satellite into space. But obviously, since most people are anxious, to say the least, about using a vaccine that lacks the proper testing, in this video we will take a look at what we know so far and whether or not we should be hopeful in putting all of our hopes into the Russian vaccine. Stay with me, we'll begin right after the intro. Alright, so the Russian government did announce last month that they were going to have a fully developed vaccine ready for mid or late August for the Russian people, and then after that the rest of the world. Most people were a little skeptical about this because the vaccine itself hadn't undergone the necessary testing that vaccines are supposed to go through. They have 3 phases. The first 2 ones are pretty simple, but the 3rd one is the important and the biggest one, typically testing tens of thousands of people to really find those side effects that are crucial when you release a mass-produced vaccine. But not in this case. They didn't need a phase 3. Well, to be completely fair, they have committed to do a phase 3 test. The problem is that they're doing it right now as this vaccine is being released into the public. But at least they won the race of being the first nation to actually have a developed vaccine. I shouldn't laugh, this is actually quite horrible. Let's read what this CNN article has to say about it. What we know and don't know about Russia's Sputnik 5 vaccine. Russia raised eyebrows on Tuesday when it announced the world's first approved coronavirus vaccine for public use. President Vladimir Putin says his own daughter has already received it, but testing is yet to be completed and experts are skeptical about how quickly the vaccine has been registered. Skeptical? How dare you? I can't do a Russian accent. Skeptical about Mother Russia vaccine? No, we trust the almighty, all-powerful Vladimir Putin and his daughter. Wait, what's her name? Maria Putina. Maria Putina tested that the vaccine works. Let's move on. While details about the research behind the vaccine are limited, here's what we know so far. The vaccine was developed by the Moscow-based Gamaleya Institute using funding from the Russian Direct Investment Fund, RDIF. The vaccine is named Sputnik 5, a reference to the 1957 Soviet Union satellite. Scientists conducted months of human trials but are yet to publish data and did not begin the crucial phase 3 stage, which usually precedes approval, before the announcement on Tuesday. On Wednesday, it was announced that a phase 3 trial involved more than 2,000 people in Russia and several Middle Eastern and Latin American countries had begun. Typically, this stage of trial involves testing on tens of thousands of people. Dr. Scott Gottlieb former commissioner of the US Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, said Tuesday that the number of people the vaccine had been tested on so far was the equivalent of a phase 1 trial, which typically involves a small group and studies the safety of the vaccine. So obviously this is, to say the very least, a little shady. But just because Russia isn't releasing its scientific data and test results, it doesn't mean that they haven't actually got a good product. It could also just mean that they want to protect themselves against theft from their main competitors like China and the US. Both nations, China and the US, are struggling to be the official first nation to create a vaccine and thereby be the heroes in the eyes of most of the world. Remember that both the US and China are still months away from having a fully tested, fully functioning vaccine. And the test results of the first few initial, especially US ones, have been pretty horrific. I don't know if you've seen the interview, but I'm just gonna play it for you. This is an interview where Bill Gates doesn't even contest that his new vaccine, or the vaccine that he's funding, will have at least 80% of people having serious side effects, as it is right now. Let's take a look at the interview right here.
The side effects for the Moderna vaccine sound concerning. We looked. After the second dose, at least 80% of participants experienced a systemic side effect, ranging from severe chills to fevers. So, are these vaccines safe?
Well, the FDA, not being pressured, will look hard at that. The FDA is the gold standard of regulators, and their current guidance on this, if they stick with that, is very, very appropriate.
Ah, goodness. Not very comforting, is it? And it's kind of the same with this Russian vaccine. Is it safe? Is it effective? We can't really tell yet because obviously the test results haven't been released. There are a few scientists in this article who states that at the very least, there are good indications that the Russian vaccine is able to create some antibodies for the body to fight off the virus. But since side effects can be really rare and they never did a full-blown phase 3 testing, they're only doing it right now. That means that there can be some nasty side effects lying in wait that we just don't know about. We just don't know. What we do know is that in April, the Russian government enacted a new law completely eliminating the need for a phase 3 test. Surely they must have done this to be the first country in the world to release, in their eyes, a functioning vaccine. I'm not completely sure if this is true or not, because it kind of goes against some of the other things that I've read. But some Russian news outlets are saying that doctors and nurses will get it before the general public. And then if everything comes through cleanly, the general public will get it in October, and then the rest of the world will be able to get it in November. I don't know, I thought this was a really interesting news story because it's kind of being buried by other main news outlets all around the world. And it's a really big deal if Russia actually did develop a fully functioning vaccine. Now it's obviously it's missing its phase 3 testing, but it's being done now. And if the phase 3 is completed without any big obstacles and they find out that there are no big side effects, Russia have a major achievement on their hands here. Obviously, the US and China are not going to cover this too much in the news unless they're absolutely certain that this is a functioning vaccine, because they want to, just like Russia, they have a deep need to be the first nation to develop a vaccine and prove that they're on the forefront scientifically and that they're leading in the world. So there's a lot of political agendas that come into play, and obviously that's why Russia enacted the new law to make sure that this vaccine would be pushed through as fast as possible. I don't know about you guys, I would never accept or never take the Russian vaccine unless it went through the necessary testing, and I for sure as Hades would not take the US one, where Bill Gates is admitting that 80% of people right now testing it out are having serious side effects. I just wouldn't do it, and I don't think you would either. So actually the choices that we have right now are between Bill Gates funded vaccine that has 80%, as I just said, of people suffering side effects, serious side effects, or being a guinea pig of a Russian vaccine where you have no idea if it has any side effects. So now that we understand how little we know about these vaccines and how damaging they potentially can be, and we don't even know the side effects, it's a little concerning seeing all of these countries pass and enact laws that will make a vaccine, a future vaccine, mandatory. It will be forced. This article talks about how Denmark is rushing through emergency coronavirus laws, that whatever virus vaccine in the future they will have, or whatever the WHO approves, that one will be forced upon you. In the end, Russia could have something really valuable on their hands here, both for Russia and for humanity as a whole. So I really hope that this vaccine comes through and will be fully tested, fully vetted before it's being exposed to the public. I, for one, won't be taking any vaccines before there's a fully approved one. And even then, I think I'll still be a little skeptical about this race that the different countries have been running with each other to be the first nation to push it out. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember to subscribe to the channel. I will be doing my daily videos to the extent that I can now that I'm back from my summer holiday. So I'm really excited to get back into it and do daily videos with you guys. Remember also, if you have any ideas or thoughts about the issue, comment in the comment section below and I'll make sure to reply to you. Have a really good day and God bless you.